Hello and welcome to the Carl Jackson Show. This is your daily dose of objective truth in a world of confusion and lies. Guys, I want to talk to you about the great American reset that we see happening before our eyes, particularly with the focus on the border. The border crisis is being handled. And honestly, I think the Trump administration is doing a great job handling the border, but we still have a long ways to go. And part of the battle will be to keep up it's basically got to be a PR campaign, right? Because these illegals are, there's going to be videos out there that aren't going to look pretty necessarily. But right now, Trump has the wind behind his back, so to speak, and things are going swimmingly. I'm going to share with you some videos in this particular segment because I just think it's fascinating. But I do want to just talk to you about some of the news that has taken place. I mean, I mentioned this earlier on Prager's show, but I am just honestly, I've gotten to a point where I do believe that God is really using Trump for such a time as this. You know, I hearken back to the days of Joseph in the Bible, where his brothers sold him into slavery, and obviously what they meant for evil turned to good, because Joseph ends up being the second highest in command in the land under the Pharaoh of Egypt. And before he knew it, his brothers were groveling to him. They had no idea that they were groveling to him, but in order to basically save their lives and in essence, save the surrounding lands, because Joseph was so good at making sure that the land of Egypt had plenty of food and water and resources and so on, etc. And so, his brothers, when they sold him into slavery, they thought that was the end of it. His father was completely heartbroken, thinking that he had lost his son, and they couldn't stand him. They were jealous of him. He would talk about all of these grandiose dreams, and it would make them mad. It would drive them crazy, and they had had enough. So they sold him off into slavery, and little did they know that one day God would use him in order to basically help them survive and help to heal their land. And I've been very careful in talking about Trump in these terms, but I do believe that God is using him, not because he's Trump, but because God is God. And he can use whomever he wants to use, whether that's me, whether that's you, whether that's Trump in this particular case. And I was just thinking about some of the news before I get to some of the things that are happening on the border. I mean, just recall last week we did the podcast, Trump visits North Carolina, Trump visits LA, and then you had competing worldviews when the confrontation arose between he and Mayor Karen Bass, where you had a lady that was a total believer, it seemed to me, in the nanny state, a communist, a socialist, if you will, thinking. But I do believe she's an useful idiot in that sense. And I don't mean she's an idiot per se, but I do believe that she's a useful idiot for the left, because it seems to me like she bought into it. She really bought into it. And then what gave it away is when she sat there, and I won't play the audio for you. I did it in an earlier podcast, but you know what I'm talking about. When Trump was like, listen, you have emergency powers just like I have. You can make a lot of this red tape regulation go away right away. And within 24 hours, these people want to clear up their land. But you have these Agenda 2030 socialist communists that really would like to keep that land, quite frankly, and build the new Los Angeles 2.0. But these people aren't going to have it. And I don't think Trump is going to have it. And now you have Trump out there demanding, and rightfully so, that not only water gets their water issues correct, but they get their voting issues correct. There's no way Californians should be allowed to vote without using voter ID. I mean, that's just absolutely insane. And so some of the help that Trump wants to give is contingent upon that. But let me just run through just some of the headlines, that I spoke about earlier, other ones that have arisen since. But seriously, just think about it. Besides Trump visiting North Carolina, you have the ICE raids that are happening in places. First, we saw Baltimore. Now it's happening in Chicago, where yesterday alone they picked up 1,000 illegal aliens to be deported. You have the confrontation between the president of Colombia and President Trump, Gustavo Petro, who is a Marxist, who is a communist. And basically, this guy tried to act tough to President Trump and say, listen, we're not going to take these planes filled with these Colombians, illegals in our country, criminal the criminal element back, the baddest of the bad. We're not going to take them back. So he turns the planes around within minutes. Trump is out there tweeting or truthing or whatever you call it. Listen, this guy's going to pay a 25% tariff, and then within a week, 50% tariff. And before you know it, the president of Colombia is offering his presidential plane to go pick these people up. And now things have gotten so hot in Colombia that there's talks of impeachment. And they're sending a foreign dignitary here to the United States to smooth things over with America, because this guy is a straight Marxist and they don't even like him. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. And then the ICE raids, like I said, Trump got rid of 17 inspector generals, and there was much to do about nothing as far as that's concerned. But when you consider the deep state, when you consider the bureaucratic state, why shouldn't Trump have people in place that he can trust to handle these departments? You're talking about the firings include the IGs of the departments and the departments of state of agriculture, the interior, transportation, HUD, education, labor, defense, as well as the Small Business Administration, the U.S. Energy Corporation, and the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency. So if these IGs weren't getting rid of waste, fraud, and abuse while Biden was there, why would Trump keep them there when he's got his new nominees coming in? I do think it's a good idea to bring in fresh faces, fresh thinking, and people that may not have been tainted by the deep state, quite frankly. And I don't understand this outrage from Congress. Now, maybe there's experts out there that probably would know about this a little better than me, but I think I have a good understanding of the Constitution. I know the three branches of government: executive, legislative, and judicial. I don't understand why Congress needs a 30-day window or 30-day notice for Trump to fire people inside of the executive branch. And that makes no sense to me. And then you just think about this. You think about the fact that you have the CIA director now, the newly nominated CIA director, John Ratcliffe, telling us what we all know. And that is simply this, that the Wuhan virus, the COVID virus, originated from the Wuhan lab. You got Pete Hegseth that has been confirmed as the Secretary of Defense, and he's vowing to get rid of DEI. Trump is going to be signing an executive order on that. Kristi Noem confirmed as the Department of Homeland Security Secretary. Trump is thinking about transferring 80,000 IRS agents to the southern border for work. Guys, the news is so plentiful, it's insane. Trump is reinstating, he's going to use an executive order to reinstate soldiers that were punished for refusing the COVID jab. And I think this is a good idea. The reason why I think this is a good idea, because I expect that these guys are the leaders amongst the leaders, right? These are the guys that wouldn't bow down even to big government. It's pretty impressive. Real quickly, I want to play for you guys a video because I want to get on to the border issue. This is Selena Gomez. What cut is that again? That is cut number 20. Selena Gomez had a big cried some crocodile tears over illegal aliens being deported. I want to address this. I think it's really important. Let's go ahead and roll it, please, Kate.
I just want to say that I'm so sorry. All my people are getting attacked. The children. I don't understand. I'm so sorry. I wish I could do something, but I can't. I don't know what to do. I'll try everything, I promise.
Well, I know what you can do, Selena. If you see any of those children that are being sex trafficked, sold into slavery, that were brought here illegally and that the cartels are controlling and releasing, and the under the Biden administration, they were releasing to these children to just about anything, I would encourage you to call ICE. That's what I would encourage you to do. Spare me your crocodile tears. I'm so over these Hollywood stars. I'm so sorry. All my people are getting attacked. Who are your people, Selena? Aren't you an American just like I am? I don't get this. I wish I could do something. Again, call ICE. Call ICE if you see any one of these children that you didn't seem to cry crocodile tears over. These 300,000 children, again, that are being sexually assaulted, probably as we speak, and also working like slaves. What about the people that are being hurt, the working class that are being hurt by illegal immigration, that have to compete for jobs, that have to compete for housing, that have to compete for resources, whether that's in whether that's in a school, whether that's in a hospital. What about I know. What about the women that have been murdered? Selena Gomez. What about Laken Riley? What about Rachel Moran? What about Jocelyn Nungaray? It seems to me that your tears are completely misplaced. And I suspect that's what you get from people that are completely out of touch. Somebody that's young like you, that's probably spoiled. Maybe I'm wrong, but you've had money. You've got everybody kissing your butt. You don't know what it's like to live in the real world. You don't know what it's like to have to compete for a job with illegal aliens. So I don't know. Spare us the crocodile tears and just shut your pie hole. That would be my advice. We'll be back. Hey, Carl Jackson here for MyPillow. For years, customers have been asking if MyPillow sells cross necklaces like the one Mike Lindell proudly wears every day. Well, they are excited to announce that Mike has partnered with a jeweler right here in the USA to create beautiful sterling silver My Crosses. So right now you can save 30% today using promo code Carl, C-A-R-L, at mypillow.com. Click on the radio podcast square or give them a call at 800-858-0263 and be sure to use the promo code Carl. You can choose from the women's or men's style. The My Cross for women has a more delicate look and is reversible with mother of pearl styled translucent white enamel on one side and onyx styled black enamel on the other. The My Cross for men has a slightly larger cross with onyx styled black enamel and a slightly longer, thicker chain. So this amazing offer isn't going to last long. Order now. Go to mypillow.com. Click on the radio podcast square or call 800-858-0263. Use promo code Carl. And don't forget, there are so many deals available at mypillow.com. Use promo code Carl. All right, welcome back to the show. Again, I'm your host, Carl Jackson. All right, make sure you follow me on all things social media at The Carl Jackson Show or at Carl Jackson Show. I'm on X, Instagram, and Facebook. I've got some more video that I want to show you because I'm telling you right now what's happening Trump. His operation to deport illegal immigrants is absolutely astonishing to me. It's amazing what I see happening. I really see a leader, a different type of leader in Trump. Maybe that's the wrong word. He's just a strong leader. He's a very popular leader. I suspect now, and I think Trump will go down as one of the top 5 presidents in American history. I do believe that now, just based upon what I've seen. Obviously, listen, I'm not an executive order guy. I'm not, you know what I mean? But the bottom line is so many of Biden's executive orders had to be reversed. I think Trump had to reverse nearly 80 on the first day alone from the Biden administration. But some of these executive actions orders are changing culture too. I think people are really starting to wake up and they're starting to see things differently. They're starting to see things our way, so to speak. I don't think there's a major freak out, at least not yet, over Trump securing the border. And so you have the media that's harping on the economy. I mean, Trump has been in for a week. It took Biden. I mean, Biden started destroying the economy pretty quickly. There's no doubt about it. It happened with spending. But even doing that took several months before he really started destroying the economy. I want to take you to a video clip. This is Tom Homan and Martha Raddatz. I mean, they are not scared at all. This is what happens when you have a mandate. All right. I believe that Trump has been giving a mandate on the economy and inflation. I believe he's been given a mandate on the border issues and crime as well. And so I think that as long as his polling stays high, as long as Trump is out there, listen, what he did in North Carolina, and then he visited the people of North Carolina. He visited the people of LA. What did that tell you? I mean, just sit there. What did it tell you? Did Biden visit the people of North Carolina? No, he visited. I can't even recall if he visited LA, but I believe he visited LA. I know that Kamala Harris did. She visited North Carolina, but she was literally there for minutes, if I recall, just for a photo op before she left. She didn't do anything. FEMA didn't do anything. FEMA is a disaster. That's another story. How Trump is looking to totally reform FEMA, because that should be FEMA should either be abolished or perhaps I mean, governors should be solely in charge of the disasters. in their state so they can be held accountable. They can get a block grant from the federal government. That way, when things go wrong, we can hold somebody accountable. But they're unapologetic about what's happening, their border enforcement. And I absolutely love it. Here's video clip number 6. This is Tom Homan speaking with Martha Raddatz. I don't think that liberals, they don't understand what it's. I mean, it's got to be refreshing for them too, right? To be spoken to with such clarity and transparency. Let's play video clip number 6, please.
I want to go back to those military flights going south. As you said, we have never seen that before. Is that going to be a constant commitment from the U.S. military every single day to take deportees out?
Yes.
So is this what we will see every single day, ending in what the president has promised is millions and millions being deported?
Yes. But you're going to see the numbers steadily increase, the number of arrests nationwide as we open up the aperture. Right now it's concentrating public safety threats, national security threats. That's a smaller population. So we're going to do this on priority base, as President Trump's promised, but as that aperture opens, there'll be more arrests nationwide.
When you talk about the aperture opening, the estimates of perhaps those who have been convicted or arrested in the past, 700,000 to over 1 million. So after you do that, then you go after everybody who is there illegally.
If you're in the country illegally, you're on the table. Because it's not okay to, violate laws of this country. You got to remember, every time you enter this country illegally, you violated a crime under Title 8, United States Code 1325. It's a crime. So if you're in the country illegally, you got a problem. And that's why I'm hoping those who are in the country illegally who have not been ordered removed by the federal judge should leave.
Just clarity. Just clarity. The grown-ups are back. Remember, they said that about the Democrats, and they said the grown-ups are back, but what they really meant was the dementia patient was back and a bunch of his staffers that were running the country, and it was a total disaster. Here's more clips. Here's J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance with Margaret Brennan. Clip number 10, please.
Well, this is a country founded by immigrants.
Well, this is a country founded by... This is a very unique country, and it was founded by some immigrants and some settlers. But just because we were founded by immigrants doesn't mean that 240 years later that we have to have the dumbest immigration policy in the world.
Thank you. Common sense. I mean, just straight up common sense. And nobody's falling for this stuff anymore. See, the left-wing media, they've lost all credibility. They really believe that they can scare people into believing, the nonsense that they believe in, that they do for simply virtue signaling. Margaret Brennan, Martha Raddatz, they live in very exclusive neighborhoods. They don't have to worry about competing for jobs and housing with illegal aliens. No, you do. You do. And so these people can ask these questions because they're woke, because they're trying to virtue signal. And frankly, they want Democrats to win in 2026 and take back the House, take back the Senate, or both. Right? That's all they're looking for. But the problem is nobody cares what they have to say anymore because we don't trust them. Let's go to another clip. Clip number 11, please.
Let me just address this particular issue, Margaret, because as a practicing Catholic, I was actually heartbroken by that statement. And I think that the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops needs to actually look in the mirror a little bit and recognize that when they receive over $100 million to help resettle illegal immigrants, are they worried about humanitarian concerns or are they actually worried about their bottom line? We are going to enforce immigration law. We're going to protect the American people. Yeah. Donald Trump promised to do that. And I believe the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops, if they're worried about the humanitarian costs of immigration enforcement, let them talk about the children who have been sex trafficked because of the wide open border of Joe Biden.
You personally support them going into schools
people like Laken Riley who were brutally murdered. I support us doing law enforcement against violent criminals, whether they're illegal immigrants or anybody else, in a way that keeps us safe.
All right. I mean, this is just common sense. And these Catholic charities, I have a video. I don't know that we have time to play it, but actually, let's play it real quick. Number 19.
There's a report from Chicago that there were ICE agents that were turned away from a Southside elementary school earlier today. Is targeting of schools, targeting of things like this, something that the administration is comfortable with and will continue with?
I think the framing of the question is wrong. If there's a law enforcement activity that's taking place in the school, then that would be for the protection and defense of the child. As you know, there's an epidemic of child trafficking and labor trafficking in this country. When federal law enforcement officers are turned away from a school, It is the act of turning them away that endangers the lives and safety of children. We've seen, as you know, 500,000 children trafficked over a 4-year period in the United States. This administration is going to investigate every instance of child trafficking, labor trafficking, sex trafficking, child smuggling, and all the attendant crimes involved in that. And our message to everyone in the country is to cooperate fully with Immigration and Customs Enforcement so that we can end the scourge of child trafficking and child abuse that has been endemic these last 4 years.
Okay, that actually wasn't the clip I was looking for, but it was so good. Stephen Miller, I kept rolling it. And that I love that. No, we're reframing the question. I mean, so whether it's Margaret Brennan, whether it's Martha Raddatz trying to get us to feel sympathy for this nonsense, we don't. I'm sorry. I'm over this stuff. People cannot, you do not have a country when people can just break in and then demand rights and demand welfare. Or if they're immigrants or if they're citizens of another country, drop a kid, you know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden this kid is an American citizen. That will destroy the nation. There's no nation in the world that's dumb enough to do that besides us. Ask yourself why. Ask yourself why. I mean, this is insane. So I love this. We don't have time to play this full clip, but I just want to give you a gist of it. This is Dr. Phil, clip number 17. I want to tell you why this is so important, what's happening here. Let's roll it, Gabe.
What's your name?
Seda.
Seda what? You have a first and last name?
Sam.
Seda Sam?
Yes.
Where are you from?
Where I was born or where I'm from?
Where are you born?
Thailand.
You been deported before from the United States?
No.
Never been deported?
But I've been in the system before.
B&B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you been charged with
Charged where?
before?
I'm not gonna say that. I'm not talking about lawyer.
Yeah. Are you a citizen?
My mom's a citizen.
Your mother's a citizen?
Yes.
But you're not?
Nope.
But you've never been deported before?
You Dr. Phil. You look like Dr. Phil.
Yeah? How do you know me?
No, I seen Dr. Phil, you know, on TV.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is an example of sanctuary cities, right? We got an illegal alien convicted of sex crimes involving children, and he's walking the streets of Chicago. Again, the downfall.
All right, let's cut it right there.
The problem.
You got an illegal alien, committed sex crimes with children, and he's in Chicago. And you got Martha Raddatz, you got Catholic Charities in the name of God talking about worried about the humanitarian costs. They're not worried about the humanitarian costs, again, of people that are losing jobs or housing as a result of competing with illegals. They're not worried about the women that have been raped and murdered at the hands of illegals. They're not worried about the children that have been abused at the hands of people like this illegal. Give me a freaking break. Unbelievable.